We're here today at Greenville Mall, Pitt County Mall, with Mike Delaney and Ryan Dawson. We're gonna go give a shot at these mall cars run by Israelis over here. You'll see Dead Sea Spa right there. We're gonna try to get our best in, see what happens. So just for everybody out there, you better do the same. Send some videos in so we can get this going. All right? Bye. Thanks.
Yes, explains.
Let me ask you this: are the suicides bombing an accident?
Is it an accident?
Yeah, are they accidentally doing this? Because it takes planning, right? It takes...
Question. What a stupid question. And don't you just love the way Delaney just breezes over one of the most hideous, heartbreaking elements of this globalist-sponsored mess, commonly referred to as the Arab-Israeli conflict? The use of children as soldiers. The hate indoctrination. I mean, in fairness to Delaney, I mean, he doesn't even really bother pretending to be particularly concerned about the Arabs. Ryan, however, is something else. Ryan claims to be some sort of Palestine solidarity activist. Curious then that he would have this to say. Yes, you're reading correctly, people. Ryantineocons, Palestine solidarity activist, is telling you here clearly, the Palestinians aren't Arabs. And yet you stupid brainwashed sheeple who idolise every word that Ryan and the numerous other Pied Pipers who are similar to him have to say, couldn't give a toss about the Arabs. You really couldn't. And it's really time you stopped dropping that act. It is really quite disgusting. I mean, bear in mind that this sort of thing was not going on, at least certainly on nothing like the scale it is today, in the days before Fatah was brought in to the Gaza Strip and West Bank by the Israeli government, albeit under massive pressure from the US establishment. You people couldn't care about the Arabs. What, do you think this is good enough for them? Do you think this is all Arabs and Muslims are good for? Being taught to hate? Fighting? Killing? Not only Jews, but each other? Do you enjoy this? Do you get off on it in some way? I mean, what the hell is wrong with you? What are you all? Anti-Arab racists? Anti-Muslim bigots? It would seem so. I bet most of you don't even know who this kid is, and even less of you care. This is Hassam Abdo, who a few years ago was sent by Yasser Arafat's Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade to blow himself up at a checkpoint, where apart from killing himself he would have also killed a number of Israeli soldiers as well as God knows how many Palestinians. However, this kid chose life and decided to surrender. And these Israeli soldiers, instead of just shooting him, saved his life. I mean, look into their eyes. I see more humanity, compassion and empathy in the eyes of these Middle Easterners than I do in the entire Western anti-Zionist movement. But of course, most of you don't care about this kid. You'd much rather cry crocodile tears about Rachel Corrie. After all, she was a nice white American, wasn't she? Who was foolish enough to stand in front of a 40-ton bulldozer and get crushed by the rubble while her friends watched and took pictures, and while apparently she was, left to die, to be martyred in hospital. I doubt most of you even care about Rachel Corrie either. Face reality, you frauds. You're only interested in these people so you can project your anti-Semitism onto them. You are using them. You are exploiting them, albeit indirectly and at a psychological level. Make no mistake, if you continue with this kind of behaviour, you people have No place. Repeat, no place in any serious truth or anti-war movement. As far as I'm concerned, you're a bunch of fascist infiltrators. Oh, what's the use? Anyway, moving on with the bollocks.
You go through a chain of command and stuff. Well, the USS Liberty attack wasn't an accident either, right?
Who said it was an accident?
Well, Israel still does.
I don't say it was an accident.
So what should America do to a country that attacks and kills 34 of our soldiers?
I think they should.
Yeah, of course. An Israeli who can't remember the name of a ship and an event which occurred over 40 years ago is obviously a moron. Yeah, right. It's like how many Americans have heard of the USS Liberty? And for that matter, how many of you jokers who love to exploit the USS Liberty tragedy have heard of the USS Stark or the USS Vincennes? At least I think that's how it's pronounced. What, you haven't? You can't remember the USS Stark? Well, that's ironic because I can remember seeing something very much like this on Australian television back in around 1987. Have a look.
Good evening, I'm Ernie Anastas. Here's what's happening. We now know that at least one of those killed in the Iraqi missile attack on the USS Stark was from our area. He is 23-year-old Christopher DeAngelis of Dumont, New Jersey. In all, 28 men were killed, 21 others injured. The Stark is now being towed to port in the Persian Gulf country of Bahrain. The ship was on a routine patrol in the Persian Gulf area, protecting shipping in an area dangerously close to the Iran-Iraq war. Iraqi President Saddam Hussein apologized and called the attack unintentional. Survivors, many who survived extensive burns, were airlifted to hospitals in Bahrain, 65 miles from the site of the attack. At the White House, President Reagan today, with his top advisors, then issued new orders. First, the president placed U.S. ships in the Persian Gulf area on a higher alert status. He also gave U.S. Navy captains permission to fire on aircraft that show hostile intent. And he ordered that Iran and Iraq be notified of the new directives.
Could the attack on the Stark have been prevented? That's the question U.S. officials are asking tonight. The Stark had been warned about the approaching Iraqi fighter and had sophisticated anti-missile defenses on board. Jim Dolan reports now on how the attack might have been averted.
The Stark had 60 agonizing seconds to prepare for the exocet missile, hovering just several feet above the water before that missile blasted a 10-foot hole in the ship's port side. No time, apparently, to engage either of the devices on board that could have destroyed the missile, one that expels metal shards that would meet and destroy the exocet, and the Vulcan Phalanx rapid-fire gun, able to fire 3,000 rounds per minute at incoming missiles. Neither device was in use at the time of the attack.
The ship is adequately equipped to deal with missiles of this kind. It's not a question of not being ready or any of the kind. You have an Iraqi plane that has never attacked an American ship before in an area where that is outside the declared war zones.
Find the responsible. Find the one which is called the Al-Qaeda leader.
Well, no, it was Israel that attacked the ship, though. The USS Liberty.
You think of USS Cole, maybe?
Yeah, not the Cole. The USS Liberty was attacked by Israel.
You have twisted facts, my friend.
No, it's in there. I met this from that ship.
Yes, by all means, do watch that pseudo-documentary. See if you can spot the almost countless absurdities and lies of the narrator. My favourite was the one about how supposedly in response to this, the US military sent planes armed with nuclear weapons supposedly to nuke Cairo. Yeah, right. Yeah, like the US military really nukes entire cities over one attack on one of its ships. Why? Because the British bullshit corporation says so. And you people call yourselves truthers. You idiots.
Yeah, they were on there.
What it was,
yeah, it was 40 years
an
ago.
Egyptian boat, and they attacked it for 3 hours in unmarked planes.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. They don't know.
You had the right answer, though. If somebody attacked a ship of your nation, you should do something to them, right?
I think so.
Now, if you want to believe people who tell you such blatant lies, such as Jesus was not a Jew, or that tell you that somehow approximately 5 million Gentiles who died in the Nazi concentration camps in one of the most well-documented historical events, generally referred to as the Holocaust, somehow didn't happen. That is your prerogative. But don't complain when you start going insane. You have been warned. Catch you later.